so thrilled to be able to speak with you and meet you in your home of Chatham.
Yes.
And talk about design.
Yes.
How lucky am I?
So sweet. Yes.
I want to talk about the home because it is absolutely spectacular.
Thank you.
Every room had so many details. I could not even stand it.
Thank you.
I mean, from the legs on the tables to, I don't even want to go there yet. First, Melinda, I want to talk about your business, your history, your design.
Yes.
Let's get into a little of the background, and then can we talk about the house?
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me about your background here.
So I'm actually fourth generation Chatham. My great-grandfather came at the turn of the century and built a house here that my grandmother eventually took over, and then my dad and I. So this was a second home to me throughout the years. My dad was a commander in the Navy, so we traveled a lot as children, but this was our home base.
What a home base it is.
Yes, spectacular. And even though after college I was married to a Southerner and I left and I went south for 18 years, my dream was to always open a second office back in my hometown of Chatham, Massachusetts. I even have a child named Chatham.
Oh, you do?
He's 20.
Oh.
So it just really goes to my love of the town. So I opened a second office here 5 years ago, and I thought, wow, I'm just going to catch a house account a year and see my mom and dad, who now live in Yarmouthport. And before I knew it, it was all just snowballing into this great adventure that I've had for the last 5 years. So now I'm primarily here, and I don't work out of Tennessee anymore. And my husband's a judge in Tennessee, and he loves his job, and I love my job. And so here we are. We have this great adventure in life where we're in 2 different states, but we love our work, and we commute to each other.
Oh, wow. Oh, that keeps the romance alive, I'm sure. Right?
It does. I get a lot of text messages, little heart text messages throughout the day. And he comes in tonight. So, it's just it works.
Do you still go to Tennessee once in a while?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And then he comes here and we commute back and forth. But professionally, my heart was here. The architecture, the color palette, and it really was, when I came here, everything professionally just burst for me. Yeah. So I was home, as you put it.
Blossoms, like the hydrangea right now.
Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious. And so do you still think that you take some of the influences from the time in South? 18 years, did you say?
Yes.
And that's a long time.
It is. It's a great question. I learned so much from being in the South for so long. The Southern hospitality, the kindness of people, the warmth, the graciousness.
Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Do you say that now?
Yes, bless your heart. So that is what I love to exude in my retail space. Yeah. And so when people walk in, it feels like home when they come in here, in Southern charm and hospitality.
And there is something about that. I did live down south in Virginia for a while when I was working for PBS.
Yes.
And there isn't anything quite like that. But I'm a New Englander, born and raised right here, born in Boston, raised on Cape Cod. So I feel what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you were talking about the architecture and the pieces that you like about it. So can you give me some examples of the things that really, really say New England and really beckoned you back?
Yes. Well, it was the sophistication of, the shingle-styled homes and early American homes. And the other place I did graduate from high school was Woodstock, Vermont. So for a girl to graduate from, or to grow up in Woodstock and Chatham, it was just, I was very blessed in that regard.
I would say. No poles.
No.
For postcards, right? They're all underground.
Yes,
all of the electric and everything is underground in Woodstock.
Yes,
Postcard perfect.
It is.
Wow, that's quintessential New England too.
So I was so blessed to do that. So I think it was just the early American architecture. My parents were lovers of American history. And so I was constantly pulled when we were in the South to battlefields or, to this museum or that museum. So it just was really ingrained in my heart, coming forward. So
there's a lot of saved battlefields in the South.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yes, it is. And so this Tada is one of your newer ventures.
Yes.
And so talk about blossoming and burgeoning everywhere.
Well, it's a funny thing. When I first came to town, I had an office, and just an interior design office, and people would open the door and then there was a wall where wait, you're in office, I shouldn't come in. And so many times, no, come in and talk. And I had always had the pull to have some retail space ever since I was in design school. And so I just decided, I'm going to relocate to a different location and have retail. So I did that, but through the years, people would walk in over the last 5 years and they would say, wait, what are you, a designer or are you retail? I'm confused. And I was constantly explaining myself. So over the winter, I said to myself, I really want to give my retail division its own name. And so Ta-da is in honor of my mother, Ann Loftus. This was her word growing up for anything beautiful and special, or chocolate chip cookies after school.
Love it.
And then raspberry and tangerine and white are her colors. And so this is, and I think we all are products of our mothers and our homes that we come from. And this is a tip your hat to her.
Oh,
so Ta-da is in honor of her.
So like raspberry sherbet on the side. Yes, very summery, very, pop. Very much so. Yeah, no, I grew up in a home where my mother would be sitting on the couch and they'd have, the armoire with the TV back in the day. And she would just get up in the middle of a show and just ever so tweak something in the top that wasn't quite, the topography wasn't, something wasn't, and then sit down and be like, everything's better now. I've fixed it, it's all better, right? Yes. So I understand what you're talking about in terms of the influence.
Yeah.
Wow, but 4 generations. And so what, you have this, and then you have the design center, and then is there one other than you said?
Well, so I am a 3-legged stool. So really the paramount of what I am is an interior designer, and I've been one for 18 years. I started my career at a place called Blackberry Farm in Wallen, Tennessee. And when I was there, it was #1 in the country and 23rd in the world as far as a luxury resort hotel. Wow. And I was hired on the design team. So I was kind of birthed into this business of beautiful customer service and beautiful design and mixing those two things together. So Chatham Interiors has been around since 2005. Okay. So essentially, when I came up here, I was able to expand into that retail division. This space became available, and I thought, I just want to get into the village. So I moved here and renovated, and we have had such beautiful response from people. They say this store feels like a vacation, and they really love, I don't normally design in this much color for clients. People don't want this much color. The space makes me feel very happy, and I love what it, the usefulness that it is. And then the other thing that was happening kind of as a businesswoman is that people would walk into the retail space all the time and say, I don't need you, but I need one thing. I need a light fixture, a sofa, or wallpaper. And I couldn't stop and help everybody because I was doing a big house account or several big house accounts at one time. So I really said to myself, the industry is changing rapidly. People want to do it themselves. They're empowered by the internet. And not everybody can or wants to hire an interior designer. Many people have their own style. So I opened in 2016, I opened the Chatham Design Center. And essentially it's my library that I've opened to the homeowners. So the goal for me at this point in my career is to share knowledge, because knowledge is power. And if you know that you're ordering a sofa that's 8-way hand-tied hardwood construction, spring-down seating, you can feel really good about that investment. And then we can put Krypton fabric, which is a new industry standard where everybody says Sunbrella, but no, Sunbrella's for sun and not. So it's
that
an
Krypton
education.
I know is in their living room.
Yes,
I do know it's everywhere. She told me chocolate. She told me red wine. She told me the whole refrigerator, hidden as they are. She poured it on the couch and everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Robert and I have 4 children, so I know what home means to get used every day. And so I design
especially on the beach.
Yes, sons and kids and dogs. So I design very sustainably for my clients. So it has to be sustainable both in aesthetic look as well as long-term longevity of that investment.
Yeah, because it looks it looks almost too nice to touch, but you can touch it everywhere.
Yes.
And
you can get involved.
Yeah, it was amazing. Wow. So I love this storefront. I mean,
Thank
right
you.
here. It's great to be in the village.
It is.
And you belong here after
Thank
4
you.
generations, right? This is it. This is your
Yes.
place. And so can we talk about the house yet?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to know all your background, but I do
Yeah.
want to talk about the house. And I did want to ask you about the retail part because, like you said, it fills in a gap with people changing, empowered by the internet and HGTV and all the others that are they think they're all filled with ideas, right? And want to kind of like tackle it themselves. And everyone kind of thinks they're an interior designer to a certain degree. But you have the items for sale too, because it must have been hard to have someone's whole home done and know that this lamp that you found just for that space still could really work in a lot of other spaces and not want to have that in here. So it must be fun for you to go pick those. Is it the things you hear all from previous projects, or are you now almost buyer, like a buyer that way, where you go out and you search for things.
I do.
Retail
so I
friendly.
have a few things in the store worth mentioning. One is like antique calligraphy pens, or jewelry for the home is the new kind of rage.
Okay,
so it's African beads.
Okay.
They come from Africa and they're made out of Coke bottles.
Okay.
And they're the most beautiful colors.
Okay.
So my retail space is two things. It's an expression of things that I think are beautiful when I travel, and I can pull back one of a kinds, which again, as a designer, that's my charge in life, is to get people to think about authentic design, to be confident in who they are and express that in their home, and bring that forward to people and allow people the expression to believe in themselves, rather than opening up a magazine or getting on the internet and having a cookie cutter stamp brought to your house.
Right.
So that's one thing that I'm trying to accomplish through the retail space. The other is let people touch and feel the furniture. So what's lovely is, I have a table from Highland House, and client walked in and she said, "There's my dining room table I've been looking for, but I need it in 74 inches. And go see Constance at the Chatham Design Center 2 steps away, and she can order you that exact table." So people do need the confidence to touch and feel, so they can sit on the sofa, they can see that 8-way hand tied, that spring down seating, an outdoor piece. What does it feel like? The fabrics, what do they feel like? So the two companies, so Chatham Interiors and Chatham Design Center, are two companies that really mirror each other. It's just who's picking what in the beginning.
Okay.
So that's the simplicity of what it is. And then after all these years, I'm really good at the procurement. So we order, track, receive, and inspect. And we try to make it a very seamless process, getting back to excellent customer service.
Now, what was your degree in? Because you're very wordy too. I mean, not wordy like talk a lot, but wordy like you've got some good words to describe what you're saying. You're adept at bringing that word that means what you mean.
Yeah.
So, were you an English major? What was your
sociology?
Sociology. Oh, so people and
study of society.
Society.
Yeah. And then I went back and got an interior design degree when I decided this is what I wanted to do for a living.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, the home.
Okay.
All right. So. Let me start at the master bedroom. A breakaway from all the beautiful different tones of blue and textures of blue down. All white. A lot of people want to do all white but are so afraid of it. It's not all white, it's all tones of creams and whites, and beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So what was your thought behind that space?
I get very invested in my homeowners and how they live and who they are as people. Yeah. And in this particular case, he's a doctor and he's busy, and she's very busy as a graphic designer, and they have a busy life together. And there's nothing more palatable than just a beautiful, peaceful room that you can come home to every night and really fully unwind. That was their space. So when I work for clients, master bedrooms are really important to me, because that's your zen. That's where you wake up every morning. That's where you end your day. And the other thing too, working in Chatham, I work very hard not to fight with the outside. I try to bring the outside in.
Yes.
So,
and it's a beautiful outside to bring in.
It is. It's spectacular.
You don't want to fight with that. It easily integrates into that landscape. I mean, the whole home is every window. It's seamless between.
That was my goal, because if we introduced, dark navy blue and white in the living room, your eye would be drawn to that and not the beautiful color of the water outside. So the master bedroom, I really wanted them to come home at night and get up there and let it flow right out to that beautiful view.
And the swivel chairs, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of having a place to sit, whether it's a shades or a couple little swivel chairs, whatever it is, some little place in your room that's not just your bed.
Yeah.
I love that, and I've always had that as my goal in all of my master bedrooms, that I have somewhere that's a little space, and those are perfect there.
Yeah.
And I know they fight over which chairs actually has the better view. I think the one on the right does. So I pictured the scrambling over the bed to get there, while the other one is fetching the tea.
Yeah.
But it's perfect. It's perfect. It doesn't look crowded because of the colors that you chose too, and the shape of the chair. It doesn't look like, there's so much furniture in this room. It looks perfect, adequate in terms of what it is. Yeah.
And I really visually think about how are they going to use the space? What What are they doing? And I wanted them in their busy lives to have this sanctuary. It could be the two of them sitting and enjoying and talking. And then I wanted to be very respectful of the architecture of the house. So
and what bones it has.
I know.
What cool bones. And so I'm talking to Spencer Gray
Yeah.
at some point, and I can't wait to speak with him about it. But the beautiful beams, the touches that the Collins brought in too, are like the winch on the stairs and the compass with the scrimshaw and all the hidden appliances, so it looks like a ship. I mean, what they did. What was, and then what was added, and then what is now, given its vast amount of history, is amazing.
It is.
It's very cool.
It is. What the cute story about the sale lot for me was, the homeowner was actually in my retail space looking at a mirror, which she did purchase and put in the house. Yeah. And we started talking, and she said, I'm really struggling with paint colors, and that conversation led me into going to the house and visiting with her. But when I came there, tears came through my eyes, because my grandmother used to go to the sale loft, which was, before from 1960 something to the 90s, it was a beautiful clothing store. And my nanny from Chatham, would bring me there as a little girl and hold my hand and walk me in and say, look at this view. So it was so sentimental that I got to design this house, and my grandmother's up in heaven smiling and just so touched that I did the sale loft.
Yeah. And Ara's mother still has a purse that she bought 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you're feeling that emotion of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it for a lot of people.
Yeah. It's just, of all the houses that I've done, and I enjoy all of them, and I love the different families I meet, and the way I get to enhance who they are and bring that expression into their home for them. This was so different for me. This will remain one of my most favorite projects.
Yeah, because it ties it all together.
It does.
And so I want to talk about just, and I know we can't be here all day, although I would love to, is the legs of the chairs, the detail on those, the lamps. I noticed that sometimes it was the clear lamps, so they wouldn't take up too much visual space. I mean, it's just obviously expert. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
It's just expert. I couldn't find anything that I didn't absolutely love, and there, I could take a photo on every corner and just have something gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so, I guess, what's your favorite part of the whole home in terms of your own design? If you if you wanted to say, I did really well here, or this is the first time I did this.
I do love the master bedroom. I think that came out just spectacular with no reference. I'm not Melinda Headrick Interiors, and I made a strict determination in 2007 not to do that, because it wasn't about me, it was about the clients. I love the fact that you don't know that I did that house, that nobody will ever know. That house should speak for itself and what it is. And so my goal was to go in and enhance that architecture. So you're absolutely right. I put in beautiful Ralph Lauren lamps that are glass etched. And you see right through them out to the water.
Yes.
I pulled the watercolor in and painted the cabinets, the watercolor that was there that day that spoke. Lighting was a huge factor in this house. We needed to really enhance the lighting. They were very leery not to move away from the architectural integrity of the house. And I carefully said, let's install, an antique-looking wrought iron fixture over the dining room table.
Yes.
Let me do under-counter lighting.
The nod to the candle factory that it was, or candle making,
yes,
right?
Yes,
too?
yes, yeah. And then in the kitchen, there's the cabinet, and it has almost a brass chicken wire on it. And Philippa said, let's pull that down. I said, no. Let's keep that, but let's just light the back of it. And it really has become such a beautiful, an avenue to the house. So lighting, I would say for me, I came in and I added the light that the house desperately needed, because it was dark.
Yeah. And some of the ceilings, even though it's 1800s, they think are lower. Yeah. So you don't get that height except for in the vaulted ceiling in the living room.
And then I think the furniture is a very sophisticated palette, and it really plays into the antique feeling of the home.
Exactly.
And I have to say, hiring an interior designer is very challenging to somebody, but if you can allow somebody to trust you, it blossoms. When you have a designer who is a true professional, I am handed that amount of trust, and they totally trusted me.
And it's about good listening.
Yeah.
And it's about you really understanding them.
Yep. And she, like, for example, no stripes. She didn't want stripes. Well, stripes are a very important part of Cape Cod. Everybody, you know, and I said, okay, that's great. And you know, like I said, I really have to get into the psyche of clients and understand who they are. And then I used, she still wanted a navy palette, so I used that in the media room and kind of created this beautiful dark recess room where they could enjoy TV in there. So it really, it was just an incredibly special house to work on.
Well, you got a lot going on. Yeah, well, it was a great relationship, it seems, because it's spectacular. I absolutely loved it. I'm loving featuring it. I know everyone's going to love it. You have so much going on everywhere. And I will see you tonight. Okay. And continued success.
Thank you.
And yay you.
Thanks.